themselves internet cafes all over again, and all cooked up by Tallahassee lobbyists. It would be the biggest expansion of gambling in Florida history without the biggest thing required by Florida's Constitution: your approval. Voter control of gambling isn't a suggestion. It's the law. Tell your legislator, don't break it. Sponsored by No Casinos.
Provincial fungicide is to Pentfields what vowels are to the English language. With it, disease control isn't compulsed.
It couldn't be any clearer. Provosol fungicide is to peanut fields what vowels are to the English language. Without it, disease control isn't complete. Provosol fungicide from BASF is the missing piece you need to finish off disease. Always read and follow label directions.
We're back. The 30th Orlando International Fringe Theater Festival will take place May 18th to the 31st in Lock Haven Park, and digitally June 4th through the 18th through a new program called DigiFringe. Enjoy performances from artists all around the world. Ticket prices range from free to $12 and are available online at orlandofringe.org or at the box office.
Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first Wednesday of each month at 9:30 to Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion, and learn how they can help you. This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to hour number 2 of Ocala Talks. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, joined now in studio by Roseanne Frick. She is the CEO of the Early Learning Coalition. Good morning.
Good morning.
And you brought Elizabeth's always with you.
Elizabeth, yes.
Hey, good morning.
Right.
And you have 2 more guests.
We do.
Who'd you bring with you?
We brought special guests from Marion County Public Schools this morning. I'm going to start in reverse order because I always do. This is Jen. Jen, would you introduce yourself and tell them what your role is today at the school district?
I would be happy to. My name is Jennifer Beck, and I'm the Director of Elementary Education, and I'm so happy to be here today.
Victoria?
Hi, everyone. I'm Vicki Nevels. I am the Early Learning Coordinator for Marion County Public Schools, and I'm very excited to be here today, too.
So you have 2 early childhood educators here.
Absolutely.
Which is, my degree's in secondary education because I wasn't good enough to be an early childhood educator. I didn't have the patience. I dealt with high school kids, and early childhood educators go, yeah, I don't know how you did that.
Right. It's true.
I
Yeah.
couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about, it's been a weird 2020. 2021 is slowly improving, but we still have to worry about COVID-19, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Some of the trials and tribulations parents and the school district together face in the upcoming summer.
Yes, absolutely. It is important to recognize that while COVID-19 in my world seemed to hit us pretty quickly, it's a slow recovery. And the ones who pay the highest price are our kids for the instability that went on in their worlds, not just social and emotional, but also academic. So we're focusing on academics today and the things that are available to parents at no cost over the summer.
How traumatic was it? Because we know from birth to about 9 or 10 years old, the sponge brain of a child is amazing.
Yes.
But they have to have, needs to be regulated. They have to have a regiment that they do. You can't just throw willy-nilly at them and expect them to take things. So we do things like early learning, and we do early education, and we do child care and stuff that help keep the child in a program. Mm-hmm. Well, that all got thrown out with the bathwater with COVID-19 in 2020 and 2021. You went to learning on your iPads and your tablets because the teacher was in a classroom with a camera on her. You weren't there. How big of a issue was that for the early learning of children?
Huge. It was tremendous. But our early learning childcare providers are definitely a different source out there because they are essential. They never close down.
Right.
So the virtual stuff really began with our younger kids in the elementary schools.
First
Vpk,
grade, second grade,
kindergarten,
right.
first grade, absolutely. And I know that that's what these two ladies are going to address. And one of the things that helps us determine that was look at the number of kids that were in our public school system this year as far as visual in person compared to the virtual. And also, unfortunately, we did receive kindergarten readiness rates that were not where we want them to be. They were very low for this past
What do
year.
you mean by kindergarten readiness rates for those people that may not understand what that is?
It's a screening that's completed during the first 30 days of a child entering kindergarten that measures their level on different things to determine that they are ready for kindergarten. Social, emotional, do they recognize letters of the alphabet? Do they recognize shapes, etc.? So these are very basic skills needed when they enter kindergarten to determine where they are to be ready, so a teacher knows how to move forward with them as the year begins.
How important is the lesson plan and the need to get kids on a strict on a path towards good education at the kindergarten level, and how difficult has it been in the middle of a pandemic?
I'll be happy to answer that question. So it's extremely important that our students, they thrive a routine, they excel in a routine, and that is exactly what our schools and our teachers have offered this year. And you are correct, we opened school this year and many of our students return face-to-face, and that number has continued to grow throughout the year. And our students are doing well. However, as Roseanne has indicated, our readiness rates are not where we want them to be, and so there's always more that we can do, which I know will lead us to some fantastic summer opportunities that we have available.
Why is it when we see everything during this pandemic has been, when you talk about the pandemic and doctors and everything, they go, one of the silver linings is you can now go to your doctor and have an appointment with your doctor virtually, and so you don't have to go into the doctor's office. It's much easier and everything. Yet everything I'm hearing from educators is it's a problem with the virtual classroom. We need the hands-on, the communication in person with children. Tell for the listeners that may not understand why is it so important to have that interaction in person with teachers and children instead of just doing it through a screen?
That's a great question. So first I would say that, of course, we want and we're thrilled to educate our students no matter which way they come to us. However, we know, particularly with our youngest students, that nothing replaces that teacher with the student who can offer hands-on opportunities, can interact with the student. The students have the opportunity to interact with each other and to interact with the resources that we're putting into the classroom.
I've heard recent reports here in Marion County and throughout the state of Florida that summer school is going to be a very important time because of how lacking people were prepared to move from pre-K to K, from elementary to middle school, from middle school to high school. There's really a lacking of development getting there, and that summer school is going to be very, very important and very vital to catch up. So what are some of the programs that people can look forward to this summer that are going to help children with their early learning to catch up with the void that has been created by the pandemic?
So let's start with summer VPK offerings. So we do have a lot of children in the community that are 4 years old that did not attend a school year VPK program, whether it's at one of our Marion County Public School sites or a private provider. So we do have a lot of options for summer voluntary pre-kindergarten at our public schools. We have it at 6 locations this summer. So parents that are comfortable to get their students back in this summer, they can attend summer VPK. It's all summer long, and it's a full day programming, and then that will help with their transition into kindergarten, and that's for our youngest learners.
What 6 locations are you offering?
At Bellevue Elementary, College Park, Emerald Shores, Maplewood, Marion Oaks, and Reddick Collier.
So it reaches the county.
Yes.
It's a good spread out through the county.
Yes.
It's not every elementary school, but there's enough where it's not a bad trip for a parent to get there.
Right. We did make sure that we put them in all the different areas of the county as well as more centralized areas.
You do know
What?
you start offering these kind of programs in the summer where parents can, again, working parents, because we all work. Most parents are two parent or single parent homes. Everybody's working. You start offering these kind of programs, they're going to want you to do this every summer where they can. This may lead to y'all working 12 months a year. Oh wait, teachers do work 12 months a year. People just think they don't.
Right. And we do offer summer VPK every single school year here in Marion County.
Yeah, to get people prepared for it.
Could I interject?
Yeah.
I have to do the number thing. I just want to remind everybody that research, testing, screening, whatever you want to call it, is demonstrated clearly, even up through this year, that children who attend VPK are definitely more ready, based on kindergarten readiness scores, than children who do not attend VPK, that children that attend programs but not throughout the whole year. So VPK is vital because that sponge in their brain up there is working. So I encourage people to explore this option.
And the thing people don't realize, VPK, not only do you have a basis for learning numbers and the alphabet and shapes and colors, it's also the first time most of these children are socialized with other children and learn that there's behaviors you can do and you can't do before you get to the public school system.
Right. We do work a lot on incorporating self-regulation skills. We teach children how to play with each other, as well as blending in the academics that are necessary for that age group. So
the VPK program is offered all summer. When does that start? For the 1st of June? What day does that start?
So we run summer VPK from June 7th until July 20th. And it's a full day programming, so they start at 7:30 in the morning.
And they're done about 2:30?
No, we extend it through 5:30 as needed, yes.
So it's a full day of fun.
Full day.
Yes.
Full day.
And it's not all just like we've talked. There is some academics, but they get chance to be kids on the playground and everything as well through socialization and stuff like that.
Yes, definitely play-based learning. They learn through play, and it's a great blend of academics and social skills and play. So,
what kind of unique issues are you going to have to deal with this summer, though, to make sure that you still keep everybody, while everybody's back face-to-face, you still keep everybody safe, or you make parents feel like their children are safe with distancing and everything?
So I'll be happy to answer that. So we have wonderful safety protocols in place that we've utilized throughout this school year. That would include teaching our students about hand washing, frequent hand washing. We kind of have the phrase jelly in and jelly out when going to particular activities, either within the classroom or outside the classroom. Certainly our teachers this year have done a fantastic job working to maintain some distance between our students, and so we anticipate that many of those same things that we've done throughout the school year will be able to apply into our summer programming.
Now you have VPK summer programming. Do you have elementary summer programming as well?
So I'm so glad that you asked. So at our sites that are not offering pre-kindergarten VPK programs, we have Rising K programs, and we definitely want to get the word out about that program. That is for students that are enrolling in kindergarten in the fall. And so what I would encourage parents to do, that as they are registering their student at please make sure that they're reaching out to school to ask about that opportunity. Some schools are doing that for 1 week, some are doing it for 2. We actually have 1 or 2 schools that are doing it throughout the summer. Times vary, which is why it's important that they're reaching out to the school that we call it their base school, their school in which they're registering their child.
I got cheated. I grew up in 1966 was when I was born. I went to my first kindergarten, and I'm at my first school in 1971, first grade at Holy Rosary. I didn't have all this enjoyment, the VPK and pre-K and K. I didn't get all this. I'm a little. Can I come back and start over?
Well, you could always come back and get early childhood certified if you'd like to join a classroom.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Good. No, I'm good. So what are some of the programs because I know we're dealing with the school systems, but I know the Early Learning Coalition works in concert with the school systems. What are some of the things y'all are offering that work in concert during the summer with the school system?
Well, we're still offering our school readiness services because our child care facilities are still open over the summer, and we do have some summer VPK sites that parents can enroll in if they don't go to one of the 6. So we partner with the school board to make sure we find other places that have coverage too. And so we do help also with the school readiness program in conjunction with VPK that helps parents pay for childcare over the summer if they don't have a 4-year-old or they have a child older than 4 or younger than 4 especially. So we're still conducting those programs, and our typical programming doesn't ever end over the summer. So we just carry on and keep moving forward. And if a parent wants their VPK Certificate of Eligibility, we call it a COE, they would contact the Early Learning Coalition at www.elc-marion.org. And that way they can get their certificate to attend any of the school district sites or the private child care facility sites for VPK.
So we've talked about 2, 3, and 4-year-olds. We've talked about 5-year-olds because of kindergarten. What are we doing for first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade? Is there stuff offered for those children as well?
Yes.
There is actually things offered this summer. As a matter of fact, we're having programming at all of our elementary schools this summer, and so I would encourage families to reach out directly to their child's or children's school to ask for that specific programming, but there's opportunities at the elementary level for all grade levels, and then even into middle school and high school there is specialized programs being offered, which again, those, if you just make contact with the school, they'll be able to share times and program dates and then what it is that they're specifically offering. So I would say that we are offering probably the most comprehensive summer programming that we have done in a number of years, and I've been in the school system for a long time.
Is this going to be enough? Is it going to be enough to catch up and fill the void that was done? Because we're a year and a half into this now, where kids' lives have been interrupted, how they learn has been interrupted. Are we going to be able to catch up in 6 weeks?
I'll start with that. With the parents' support, involvement, and commitment, yes. Because children are sponges, but it does take that parent support, and we've got
That's
to give
key,
the
isn't
kids
it? The parent support.
Yes, sir. I mean, we can have all the programs, but if parents don't look into how it would benefit their child, have their child there regularly, a Rising K program, 2 weeks at Anthony Elementary, and I know that because we're working with them on it. 2 weeks. That's all the child has to be there. Those 2 weeks equals 8 days because they have Fridays off, so they have a long weekend.
I really need to go back to school.
But if that parent doesn't get their child there, that child is not going to benefit. So we've got to have the parents buy in and support.
And if parents don't take an active role at home to reiterate what the child has done at school and do things like 15 minutes of reading with their children and stuff like that, that's going to be all determined on how well the child goes as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
I 100% agree. We definitely promote many of our teachers as part of their nightly routine, ask students to read 20 minutes a night. And we know that by reading, we're building the students' vocabulary and their sight word bank, and there's lots of research out there that avid readers, even from an early age, obviously we have data that shows that they are proficient when they begin taking statewide assessments. So the importance of reading begins even before they start school.
You talk about the commitment, Roseanne, that they have to have. And that means getting them to and from the school that they choose on a daily basis. You can't say, today I had to go grocery shopping. I didn't have a chance to get to school. Today my boss called me into work early. I didn't have a chance to get to. That doesn't work.
No, you're absolutely right. It does not. It means a sacrifice. That child is in your life for a reason, and we need parents to take the additional steps. And if they don't know what those are, we have lots of resources. Next week, I'm going to bring some guests who deal specifically with resources available in the county. But people need to reach out and say, how do I make this happen? I want to, I have the desire, I don't know how. What are my options?
The summer programs sound great. It's going to benefit everybody. Are there also going to be, if you don't want your child to, you're still a little leery, are there going to be opportunities to do it virtually still during the summer?
So there are some limited virtual options. I'm also help support the third grade reading camp, which is a requirement for select students that have demonstrated a need for additional support in reading. And we are definitely offering a virtual option through that. And then at specific school sites, some of their programming they're offering virtual, but I would certainly encourage the family that is interested in that option to make sure that they're reaching out directly to the school to ask if that is available at their school location. And speaking of that, parents do have the opportunity this summer that they can select that their child goes to their regularly scheduled base school, or they can select that the child goes to any other, especially at elementary, any other elementary school. And so, again, if they work across town and they want something close to where they work, we've really tried to make that convenient for the family this summer.
And I can chime in from a parent aspect. My first grader came home with his teacher Monster to Read login information and Prodigy, which is a math program. They love it. And so as a parent, I can carry on some of those lessons, and he's so excited to go log in at home. So as a parent, if you can't participate in one of these, or you're still uncomfortable and you're not sure what to do, there's a really easy things that the kids already have access to, that they just have to find that login information and make it available at home or even on the smartphone.
What about some of the children who might not have access to that kind of ability? How can they go to libraries? Can they do stuff like that to access the same stuff?
That is where our partner from last week, Jenny Ransom with the public library system that talked about all 8 of their branches, absolutely that is available through them.
Now, my favorite school, I don't make any bones about it, my favorite school in the county is Fessenden Elementary. I'm a history guy. I have a master's degree in history. The main building in Fessenden is one of the oldest buildings in Marion County. It's made out of Kikino rock. It's fantastic.
So nice.
Are there programs offered this year at Fessenden?
Yes, there is. Yes. Thank you for asking. Again, just to reiterate, we've got opportunities available at all of our elementary schools, so we definitely encourage parents. I know lots of communication has gone out via the schools through newsletters and calls, but if you have not received any of that information, do not hesitate to reach out to your child's teacher or to the front office. I know that they'd be happy to assist.
Is there a central location for the Marion County School Board and the school system where people can look for these programs online to see exactly where they're being held and when they're being held?
So that's a really great question. And so we have sent home what we would call more of a general flyer advertising summer opportunities, but we have really allowed our schools to create some unique programming specific for their student population and the needs, basing everything on what the data is telling us. And so I would go back and, again, encourage that direct reach out to the child's teacher or to the school, and they will be able to provide a full listing of what is offered this summer.
For our new enrollees, so on our main school district website, marionschools.net, we do have kindergarten, we have new student online enrollment in the school choice for registration for VPK and kindergarten. And if you don't know your base school or the school that you're zoned for, you can contact the school choice office at 671-7743, and then they can guide you to what programming they're offering this summer.
It looks like there's going to be an ample opportunity for parents to help their child catch up and through the Marion County School Systems and people like the Early Learning Coalition. There's going to be a lot of opportunities this summer. Take advantage of them because it's not about you. It's about your child. Your child doesn't have a choice. You're their protector. You're their guardian. You're their educator. Sometimes we have to sacrifice as adults to help our children because they didn't ask to be here. We brought them here. So keep that in mind, folks, when you're like, oh, but it's going to mess up my weekly conversation at Starbucks. Okay, no, not my problem. Get your kids, get them the opportunities that they can succeed. Roseanne, tell me what can we look forward to next week?
Next week, I have some special guests joining me from some organizations in the county to continue to share information on resources available to our residents. And it's not all about kids. So next week, we're expanding a little bit beyond early learning.
Well, there you go. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for the insightful conversation and letting people know that partnerships like the Early Learning Coalition has with the Marion County School Systems are there to make sure our children in this county succeed. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
We'll be right back after this short time out. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. Well, the 2021 peanut planting season is well underway, but still on the minds of many growers are the various issues they had to deal with last year. Leaf spot and white mold are two of those that many have concerns about going into this year's crop. BASF Technical Service Representative Abraham Fulmer says this was an issue even in some very well-rotated fields last year.
Well, Randall, you're exactly right. We saw some fields last year with some very, very